Follower on Twitter asked how I would sell 100 MMTLP shares with an average buy-in price of $5. Therefore, this video will explain how I would sell my 100 MMTLP to gain maximum profits. First, I calculate my cost to break even. $5 per share for 100 MMTLP shares equals $500. Then I would add my brokerage fees of around $10, giving me a total of $510. I would therefore need $510 to break even. Selling for anything lower would cost me losses. Currently, MMTLP shares are trading for $9.75, making my 100 MMTLP shares worth $975. If I sell all 100 MMTLP shares at $9.75, I would earn a profit of $465. The positives of selling out is earning a quick profit and possibly buying back in if the price drops substantially on bad news or MMTLP submitting a Fifth Amendment to the SEC. But I do not expect bad news. However, based on my research, it is possible that a Fifth Amendment is required to be submitted to the SEC. If a Fifth Amendment is required, I do not foresee the price dropping below $5 because the demand for this stock is very high. Many investors are buying the dips immediately. It has been more than 125 days since the initial S-1
form was submitted on July 15, 2022 by NextBridge Hydrocarbons Incorporated.
NextBridge is applying to the SEC to have MMTLP shares be converted into non-tradable privately held shares of NextBridge. Therefore, once the SEC approves the S-1 form and a privatization record date is provided, all MMTLP shares will convert into private NextBridge shares after the record date on a one-to-one basis. So, 165 million MMTLP shares will turn into 165 million non-tradable private NextBridge shares. But it gets even better. I encourage all my viewers to watch my 2 other videos on MMTLP history and naked shorts calculations.
On October 6, 2021, TRCH shares converted into MMTLP without the CEOs even knowing.
They were not meant to be traded, but because the hedge funds and other shorters of TRCH shares failed to cover, the market maker decided to convert TRCH into OTC tradable MMTLP shares behind the CEOs' backs. There was outrage from investors, but the CEOs explained even they do not know why it began trading. Shortly after, the CEOs learned the market maker allowed its trading because of the word transferable in application, allowing the market maker to convert special preferred Series A dividend shares into MMTLP Series A dividend tradable shares. This was the first time a Series A dividend share were allowed to be traded on the OTC market. Weeks went by with more delays and more short attacks, but the OG investors, such as myself, held and bought even more. So I would not sell my hypothetical 100 MMTLP shares for $9.75. After adding the combined trading volume of TRCH shares from January 5, 2021 along with the trading volume of MMTLP from October 7 to November 11, 2022, I found 5.7 billion shares have been traded over the span of 6 years. In an interview, George the CEO explained that TRCH had been, and I quote, heavily naked shorted internationally. If we conservatively calculate 15% of 5.7 billion trading volume was naked shorted, then that would mean there are nearly 867 million naked shares, when the total float is only 165 million. Meaning, conservative estimates show MMTLP shares to be oversold by nearly 7 times. If, however, the MMTLP shorted interest is 30% of the 6 years of 5.7 billion trading volume, then that would mean there are 1.7 billion naked MMTLP shares. Meaning, MMTLP shares are oversold by a factor of 10, and so the shorters and market makers would have to buy back 1.5 billion MMTLP shares.